Hi everyone, I hope you guys are all doing well today. So in this video, I'm just gonna show you like my general agenda and what that looks like. So on a typical day, and this changes, but generally what happens is I go through Fluency, notes from my PowerPoint, we do an activity, I do drills, and then I do a worksheet with practice problems. And I'm gonna break each one of those down today and why I do each and how I do it. Okay, so stay tuned and I hope you enjoyed the video. This is where I keep my Fluency folders for each class. Now let's take a look at one of my students' Fluency folders. So I'm going to show you exactly what we do and how we calculate fluency. So he must have not been here the first day for this one. Oh no, it's backwards. So what they do is when they're taking their fluency, I give them a minute and 30 seconds. Now it's up to you to determine like how much time that you're gonna give them. I decided to give a minute and 30 seconds just because I want to give them enough time to get better, and then hopefully by the end of it I can go down to a minute. But I didn't want to give anybody anxiety about having to finish in a minute, but so the 30 seconds I think helps them feel better. So if you notice over time, he should have gotten better. And then what I do after that is I tell them how to mark it and they keep track of their score. And we hope that they get better with each passing time. So the general goal for me when I do this is for them to pick like a topic that they haven't really mastered yet. Like integers is the number one place I believe that students struggle the most, which makes the difference between a quote-unquote good math student and a quote-unquote bad math student. I think it's just a lot of it is paying attention to details and integers. So this is a way for me to review this with them without having to spend like an entire class period teaching integers. Okay? The second thing that I do is I use PowerPoints. So the purpose of the PowerPoint is to basically be able to go over information, and I try to teach the kids how to pay attention to detail. And what I love about the PowerPoint is that it highlights key terms. So as it's highlighting, I'm talking about these points and I'm talking about keywords that the students need to pay attention to. And you see how it goes really step by step, and there's a visual. Now, I don't suggest you reinvent the wheel. There's tons of PowerPoints out there that you could definitely use, and that would come to your aid if you just take some time to go over them. And then after this, what I tend to do is, like let's say I find a PowerPoint, I can combine PowerPoints together. I just really want to show you this PowerPoint because this is really awesome because it breaks down exactly what the kids should be paying attention to, what they should be looking at, and how to plug in. This was really, really good. This makes a huge difference. I just want to show you this last slide. This is just an awesome PowerPoint. So I suggest that you use PowerPoints in your classroom just to make the learning easier with visuals and entertaining, you know, and focus on key points. Okay. Now this is the activity piece. I'm going to actually do a video on this particular activity and how I came about with it and the difference between like my honors class and my regular class when I do these activities. But an activity is just a way to reintroduce the material again in like construction paper. Like that's literally what my activities are. They're just word problems or problems, basic problems on construction paper. So this student did an excellent job. Notice how my students pay attention to detail is they have to write this out. Like this is mandatory. And the purpose is because I need them to pay attention to when they have negative integers. So by them writing this out, it allows them to slow down and pay attention to the actual numbers that they will have. So I hope you like this. I really like this. They made this themselves. It just, with a ruler and a long piece of construction paper. I gave them the points. We talked about the midpoint. It's just a better visual for them. And then they're going to take this and put this in their folder or in their binder. The next step that I do is something called drills. Drills are simply just like 10 problems, 20 problems. Sometimes it's a little bit more, depending on what I'm covering. But drills is just to drill in a practice, a habit, making sure that I can identify what's going on with them. And while they do these drills, what happens is while they're sitting down, I call them up one by one and I check on them, because I can usually tell from teaching for a while where my students are going to make a mistake. Like, I'll give you an example. A common place where they can make a mistake is -9 squared. A lot of them would put a -81. That's what they leave that as, and then they do -81 plus 100. So I'm looking to see that, as they do the drills, like, are they bringing down their square root? This is actually like worth points. So I tell them that before class. If they don't bring down the square roots, then what's going to happen is I'm going to deduct 2 points. If we look over here, this student, she added, she's a fairly good student, so she knew to add, but this is from the fluency. The fluency makes such a huge difference when they do these little problems. Some of you are probably wondering, well, why didn't they break this down more? Because when I teach, I like to go over things step by step. First, tell me that you can get through this step before you tell me that the square root of 32 is 5.7. Because this is easy. They can go to a calculator, they can use their phones. This is easy to get to. So we're going to talk about this piece next. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine both of them together, where I'm going to go back, I'm going to give them this back, and then they're going to have to find the decimal form, or they're going to have to break it down into radicals, depending. I might have them do both, actually. So, but I have to go over that piece yet. I never make the assumption that they know something, because you know what happens when we assume. The last piece we haven't got to yet. The last piece is called drills. It's called worksheet with practice problems. So this is a worksheet that I found online, because I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. And attached to it is going to be just some word problems at the end. And I think that that's pretty good. By the time that the students get here, after they've mastered their drills, after they've done their fluency, they're usually pretty good. I think it's always good to have 3 to 4 points of reference before you assess a student. So like, have they seen the same exact material 3 to 4 times?